Call this meeting to order, please. Please stand for a salute to the flag. Ron, would you lead us out, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you sit down, please, I'd like to observe a moment of silence. We lost two former supervisors this last week, Ken Darrow and Miles Frazier. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Rico.
Here.
Supervisor Stark.
Here.
Supervisor Brown.
Here.
Supervisor Wheeler.
Here.
Supervisor Chayar.
Here.
Supervisor Demessa.
Here.
Supervisor Allen.
Here.
Supervisor Sullivan.
Here.
Supervisor Strebe.
Aye.
Supervisor Coddington.
Here.
Supervisor Quackenbush.
Here.
Supervisor Radzikowski.
Here.
Supervisor Sweet. Chairman Fair.
Here.
Supervisor Stagliano.
Here. Public comment. If you have anything you would like to offer, please rise and give your name and keep it brief if you would, please. Hearing none. We have a proclamation for Caregiver of the Year, Carol Burmaster. Is Carol here? Come on up.
Thank you.
And this proclamation honoring Carol Burmaster, Montgomery County Office for the Aging, 2012 Caregiver of the Year. Whereas 10 years ago, when Carol was already the primary caregiver for her mother and father, she began caring for her husband when he became ill, and ever since then, she has been assisting him with all activities of daily living and housekeeping. And whereas Carol started out caring for others many years ago after growing up locally on a farm, she worked as an aide at the Palatine Nursing Home and then as a home health aide before becoming a full-time homemaker. And whereas Carol loves to cook, has a collection of hundreds of cookbooks, and has a habit of rearranging furniture frequently in their cozy country home, which resembles a gift shop with many collectibles and nice wooden furniture, old and new. And whereas Carol's husband, Henry, fondly known as Chris, grew up in the family business called Burmaster Pharmacy, currently named the Medicine Shop, and Chris became a pharmacist and worked at the Little Falls Hospital, Amsterdam Memorial Hospital, and opened a pharmacy at Price Chopper in Palatine Bridge. And whereas the Montgomery County Office for Aging Incorporated has been helping them through the Caregiver Respite Program by having a home health aide come in weekly so Carol can get a much needed break to go to lunch with friends, pick up some groceries, or just enjoy browsing through stores. Now therefore, John W. Thayer, Chairman of the Montgomery County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proudly issue this proclamation honoring Carol Burmaster for her tireless effort, spirit, and unwavering support for her husband, and congratulate her on this special award as 2012 Caregiver of the Year.
Thank you.
We have a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Ron and Tom Quackenbush. Corrections, changes, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And approval of budgetary transfers. Brian Sweet, Larry Coddington. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstained? Opposed? No unfinished business? New business, resolutions. First up, we have a resolution authorizing chairman to sign memorandum of agreement, union contract, education support personnel, sponsored by Coddington seconded by Creco. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Dominic Stagliano. Abstain. Next up, resolution authorizing chairman to sign agreement, HyperReach notification system, Sam Asher Computing Services, sponsored by Sweet, seconded by Connington. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? It is passed. Next up, resolution amended agreement for the management and operation of food service division at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility, sponsored by Sweet, seconded by Rechkowski. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Next up, resolution adopting 2013 Stop DWI plan, sponsored by Sweet, seconded by Rico. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution amending 2012 operating budget indigent burials, sponsored by Rechkowski, seconded by Wheeler. Discussion. Tom Quackenbush.
Resolution needs an amendment. The amendment being, instead of coming from the contingent account, the amount stays the same, but it needs to come from the fund balance, which is $85.99. That is per,
A5.
what is it?
A5.
Per Sean.
A,
A5.
as in apple?
Yes. And the title is appropriated fund balance.
Do we have a second on that amendment? Herb Allen. On the amendment? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? On the resolution as amended. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Next up is a resolution to assign the development of Montgomery County Solid Waste Management Plan to the Department of Economic Development and Planning, sponsored by Allen, seconded by Quackenbush. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? I abstain. Next up is a resolution authorizing the chairman of the board to execute an agreement with Davis Vision, sponsored by Strebe, seconded by Quackenbush. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? It's moved. Next up is a resolution adopting the Montgomery County Health Insurance Policy regarding retirees' health insurance premium contributions, sponsored by Quackenbush, seconded by Rechkowski. Discussion. Ron?
We really need a penalty for our retired employees. I mean, it's bad enough that they're retired and they don't have a lot of, I know there's a purpose behind it, because they're probably way back in that. But is there something else that we could do without penalizing them? I mean, you're gonna cancel their insurance and penalize them? Or if you penalize them, does that stop from canceling the insurance? Is Richie here?
You want to weigh in, Rich?
Well, you can take the $15 off, I like the late service, that don't matter, but I still need
Permission?
a rule to collect the money.
But what I'm saying is, if we had impacted $15, is that gonna make a difference?
No, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying, I'd like to withdraw the $15 if I may.
You're motioning to amend
Yes.
to remove the $15 penalty. Do we have a second?
I'd like to say,
Barbara? Further discussion on the amendment? Tom?
Not on that amendment, but I guess you could throw in an additional sentence on that to, I'd like to go out, instead of 60 days, make it 90 days. You know, some of these people are probably starving out there, they can't afford food, no less insurance.
Put it on there.
So
Just add it.
go out 90 days, if they can't pay then, send them a notice that they have to have it in within 15 days.
Can we keep it under the one?
Yeah.
Let's put it under the one.
that to
Because Richie says they're going out 7 months. That 7 months is too long, but
Right.
90 days, I think, then we can put it under the one.
Ron's okay with that? Are you okay with that, Barbara?
Absolutely.
Okay, on the amendment. Further discussion?
Is that, just want to get an opinion for Rich on the 90 days. Richard?
I'm fine. 69 days. It's better than 7 months, 6 months.
Bill?
I have a question for Rich. Rich, on those that are delinquent, when they do pay up, are they paying you all the way up, or are they just making like a 1 month payment, reduce that 9 months to 8 months?
Correct. Depends. It's, yeah, once in 1 month, couple months.
So you're never getting caught up?
Right.
You're always
So
9
this-
months
This
behind?
resolution, we're gonna get a letter saying that you don't pay it 3 months. It's over. They gotta pay the whole thing.
Paid in full.
Well, we would be carrying them for 3 more months, so we're actually be carrying them for 5 months.
Three.
There's 20 cancellations, they gotta get another.
If the health insurance premium contributions become delinquent for more than 2 months, now you're gonna give them 90 more days, that's 5 months.
No,
Changing from 2 to 30 to 90.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Yeah, which is 90 days. Yeah.
How many people?
200.
Thank you, thanks, Rich.
No, actually,
Dominic?
yeah, actually, Rich, when we talk about retirees, which age group are we talking about? It's 55 and over. It's not the 65 and over necessarily. It's 55 to 65 are the early retirees. Truthfully, on the over 65, do we really have much of a problem?
Probably not.
Over 65?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say here. I know, but it's a couple.
Okay.
But-
It's mostly the 55 to 65.
Correct.
Okay.
How many of those? How many?
About the 65, probably 8, 7 or 8. It's always the same ones.
Not after 3 more months, right?
Right.
3 more months, right?
I think that's what this is saying, isn't it?
Correct. Okay, on the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? On the resolution as amended, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Next up is a resolution authorizing chairman to sign a renewal agreement, Labor Relations Services, Romer Wallace, Gold, and Minot. Sponsored by Greco, seconded by Strebe. Discussion. Tom?
As I said in committee meeting, it's probably not a conflict of interest for me, but just out of transparency, I sit across the table a lot from these folks negotiating contracts, so I'm going to abstain from this.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Next up, resolution authorizing chairman to sign renewal agreement, employee physical examinations, Eastern Medical Support. Sponsored by Sweet, seconded by Quackenbush. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
I mean, it's been working good, right? Everything's been-
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Next up, resolution authorizing chairman to sign agreement, EAP, Employee Assistant Program, St. Mary's Hospital. Sponsored by Reskowski, seconded by Quackenbush. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Bush recall. Resolution authorizing the chairman of the board to execute an agreement with Matrix Quality Care Incorporated, sponsored by Quackenbush, seconded by Sweet. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? One opposed? Yes, sir. Resolution changing the title of position and amending the 2012 operating budget, sponsored by Thayer, seconded by Quackenbush. Discussion.
Am I missing that?
They're 13. You gotta go behind.
They seem to be out of order.
Oh,
Better order.
This is 207.
207.
They were out of order.
Is everybody on 207?
Yeah.
Okay. Discussion on 207. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mike Shara, Jeff Stark, Dominic Stagliano, Barbara Wheeler. Abstain.
Wait a minute. Malcolm, Jeff, Wheeler,
Yep.
Tyra.
Shara, Stagliano. 4 noes. Okay. It's passed. The resolution is adopted. Next up, resolution awarding bid 06-12, sale of surplus vehicles and equipment, sponsored by Thayer, seconded by Quackenbush. Supervisor Allen.
I'd like to amend that to take item 18 and item 20 off of the list.
That's under the award to Chad Miller of Amsterdam.
Yes. Paul can get credit for the accessories for the new welder of $1,928. So that's all I have, and we're getting from them.
Do we have a second to that amendment? Don. Okay, on the amendment, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? On the resolution as amended, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. I can get to the end of this one. Next up, Resolution 209 is a resolution authorizing county treasurer to disperse mortgage tax money, sponsored by Thayer, seconded by Sweet. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Next up, resolution approving re-levy of delinquent school taxes, village taxes, water rents, and sewer taxes, sponsored by Thayer, seconded by Quackenbush. Discussion. Tom?
This is where we're making the municipalities whole,
That's correct.
correct? And it's just on what, water?
This is on village taxes, school taxes, water and sewer.
All right, I think this kind of fits in here, so I just want to bring it up. And wasn't too long ago, the historic Fort Wayne Community Hall called and asked me if there was a possibility of the county forgiving them their portion of the taxes. When I called Sean, we had a conversation. He said, well, you could do it, but you'd have to do it through resolution. It was like $700, or I don't remember what it was. They bought the place, the old church that was going to get torn down. They've made it it's called Unity Hall, but they've made it, it's a non-for-profit, it's a 501c. It wasn't a 501 when they originally got it for the first few months, but now it is, so it's exempt anyway. In my conversation with Sean, he said, well, ideally, or I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if you could get the village to forgive theirs, before it ever gets to us, they would forgive their 500 or whatever it was, and then it would certainly have a little more teeth because it shows us working together. The village seems to think that they can't do that and it's illegal. That's why I'm bringing it up for discussion. They can if they want to, right? Doug?
Are you talking ad valorem taxes or of water and sewer charges?
And
This is the normal village tax.
their normal village tax, they could forgive that, rather than to ask us to pay them for it, right? Because if that tax goes unpaid, we end up covering that tax and making them whole. What Sean was saying was let them forgive theirs so we never have to give the village money, and then we might have a good selling point to you folks why we ought to forgive the county part. The village didn't want to do it because they think that they can't do it. They're saying that
They
they
may
can't.
very well be right. This is the first time hearing about it, but
I thought
Go ahead,
Like
Sean.
he said, if the village does not forgive the tax, then the county has to pay the village and we're out the money.
Right.
So what Sean was saying was if they forgive their end, we would have a smaller portion to forgive on our end. We'd have to pay them anyway, and it would be us working together with this 501 non-for-profit, trying to help. But the village is saying that they don't think they can do it. I said, well, geez, Sean, we do it. Don't we?
Well, it would have to be an action of the board.
Right, have to be an action of the board. I'm not saying that I'm asking you folks to do that tonight. I'm just trying to get clarification if it can happen or if it can't.
It's not, we're not talking about an error where they shouldn't have been charged in the
No.
first place.
No, what happened was it was on the rolls, and it went from the rolls to off the rolls, but in between time, they got charged. But by the time they got off the rolls.
Are they currently delinquent?
No, only they don't pay that.
They're delinquent from the, yes, they are delinquent, it is delinquent.
Is it a year's worth of taxes?
Yes, it's 1 year's tax. County tax.
From the previous.
They purchased it after taxable status date, meaning the bill came out.
Correct. It's really a village question, although of course it's a real property tax question as well. I would, this is Sport Plain? I mean, I can have a conversation with John Kirkpatrick about this, but without anything here, I'm inclined to believe that they may be correct in that they can't simply forgive it if it wasn't done erroneously in the first place. If you'd like me to do that, I will, but
Oh, I thought
of
it was
course,
done through resolution. I thought you had said to me that if we wanted to do it at the county level, it would have to be done through resolution.
Like I said, again, I'm going back, I've only seen it done maybe once since I've been here, where the county has forgiven taxes. I've never had a situation with the village too.
I would think one would be the same for both of you, you can or you can't.
whether you can or can't, as Supervisor Quackenbush has pointed out, it would seem that if this was going to be done, it would be more appropriately initiated at the village level than at the county level, since you're talking about village taxes, not county taxes.
Well, we were talking about county also, because there's a county bill due. What Sean and I were saying was, if they did it, they would forgive their portion, which was 500, and then maybe I would be able to come forward with a resolution and ask you guys to forgive the other 700, which is the county end.
What about the school?
I believe that's paid. I don't believe there's a relay on that.
No school out there.
We are gonna end up making the village whole regardless.
Sure are.
We're gonna end up paying them anyway, 500. What I'm trying to do is just alleviate that and say, why not just let them forgive it, so we don't have to pay them. And then maybe we forgive the other 6 or 7 or whatever it is.
Well, if you don't forgive it,
We're paying it.
yes, but also if the property owner doesn't pay it, eventually it'll end up on our tax foreclosure list.
Yes.
Even for $500 or
Right.
$700 or whichever.
They're struggling, they're trying to make it a community thing, they're trying to, they've done a heck of a lot of elbow grease there, to make this place revived again. And they were looking for a little bit of help on those two, because after that, they don't pay taxes anyway anymore, because they're already 501. Huh?
Are you done with your conversation, Supervisor Clark?
Well, I just was looking for an answer if it could be done. I'm not saying you have to do it, I'm not saying you would do it. I'm just asking if it can be done. Can they by resolution do it, or could we by resolution do it? Is that legal to do? If it isn't, then it's the end of the story.
Why don't I have a conversation with the village attorney and report back to,
Okay.
say, the appropriate committee, finance?
Yeah.
I mean, it may come up again in the future with somebody else that's looking.
That'll be fine.
West Hill School.
We need every tax dollar we can get.
Further discussion on the resolution? The where you are is on resolution number 210. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Resolution is adopted. Next up is resolution number 211, resolution authorizing chairman to sign agreement, general liability, and other pertinent insurance coverage. Sponsored by Thayer, seconded by Greco. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Next up, resolution number 212, resolution authorizing chairman to sign loan agreement amendment with Power Pallet Incorporated in relation to the Office of Community Renewal Project, 74-8 ED 604-07, sponsored by Thayer, seconded by Quackenbush. Discussion. Supervisor Stark.
Just want to go say once again, I know this was a deal that was long in the making. I don't have a problem when people do exactly what they say. The company has not done exactly what they said. They produced 29 out of 65 jobs. I'm all for if have them come back. There's an old saying, trusted, verified.